Up, you fucking nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week.
Moneyline, we are live. We're talking UFC Vegas 79. Really looking forward to this weekend. And obviously last weekend was pretty excellent. I am AJ, joined as always by my guy, Mike Finch. What's happening, my bro?
I'm good, AJ. Good in the neighborhood, man. I'm wearing the Bellator shirt today because I am going to be at Bellator 300. I will be talking to Chris Cyborg and, Usman Nurmagomedov and everybody there. So I'll be talking to Team Dagestan. Maybe I'll get you guys a Khabib interview, okay? We'll see what we can do. So I'll be over there at Bellator 300 in 3 weeks. Looking forward to it, brother.
I think Bellator 300 is going to be a cool card. I'm actually into 301. That one looks good with Patchy Mix at the top. Mike, I guess since you brought up Bellator, I didn't plan on doing this. Did you see what MMA Uncensored posted?
I did not.
They said Bellator is set to fold outright. I don't even know if that term actually exists, but I think they
MMA Uncensored posted it though.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know.
Folks. Remember the UFC deal's done. They're selling to the UFC. The PFL deal's done.
True.
Sounds like another one of those, man. And if they were to, I mean, could you imagine all of the value and all of those contracts? You would have to think that these fighters would be moving like they just re-signed Patchy Mix. You saw that?
Right. Yeah. No, I did see it. So I don't know.
That doesn't add up to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Who knows? We shall see. Shout out to Mike Finch with the Bellator shirt. I like it. But let's talk some UFC. Let's talk last weekend. Really, we got to talk about a championship main event, which ended controversially, I feel, when you look at the actual judges' scorecards. As far as the result, it was a damn close fight. It was Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. Grasso and Shevchenko. The rematch ends in a draw. I think setting up a trilogy, I mean, what are we going to move on from this fight with a draw? It just doesn't make sense, especially how competitive it was. And, Mike, I feel like your take's going to be pretty good on this one. So drop it for the people. What'd you think? First thing, was it a robbery? Second thing, just a breakdown.
The 10-8 fifth round was a robbery. I mean, 10-8 fifth round. Come on, Mr. Bell. What are we looking at here, man? That does not ring a bell to me. I thought that round was clearly 10-9, and I think all of you do as well. Look, I think that it clearly showed that Valentina Shevchenko is the better fighter, but on the night, Alexa Grasso fought better. Alexa Grasso was able to have great moments. She almost strangled her. She got to really good spots in the fight. You saw that overall, though, Alexa Grasso's striking looked a little amateurish next to Valentina Shevchenko. When Bullet Valentina's got her finger on the trigger, she's light years ahead of any of these other women. And Alexa Grasso, great Mexican boxer, definitely good hands, but you could see the incompleteness of the striking, the way that Alexa Grasso's kind of stomping around the cage, no clear stance, and you see Bullet Valentina light on her feet. She really is quick and more dynamic on the feet than Alexa Grasso. As far as scoring the damn thing, I thought I was going to hear Valentina Shevchenko 3-2. I wouldn't have hated Alexa Grasso 3-2, but a draw because of a 10-8 fifth round, nobody wants this.
That was, it's just a weird scorecard with the 10-8 third. It was a 10-9 third, or 10-8 third, 10-8 fifth. It was a 10-9 fifth on my scorecard. I had Grasso winning 3-2, but I think the fourth round was definitely up for argument, and I wouldn't have been mad at it going the way of Shevchenko either. So one of those interesting situations now where we have a draw between these two fighters that I think sets up a rematch. And then obviously we have Aaron Blanchfield. We have Manon Fiorot. There's big names in the weight class in the waiting now, right?
It's got to move. The division's got to move, man. Blanchfieldov looking too good, not beating too many good girls. I think the division's got to keep moving. Unfortunately for Shevchenko, I mean, that sucks.
I guess I don't like that, man. To move, I don't want to draw. I don't think you should be the champion of the world and then you had to draw with the top contender. without fighting them again. I think they have to do it again. You have to. It's like, imagine Adesanya Strickland's a draw. Now it's like, all right, Hamzat's next, Like, fuck it. This round, I know they didn't have multiple fights, but you know what I mean? Or, any type of matchup where, I don't know, Pereira was a draw with Adesanya and Pereira retained the title and then they jumped to the next. I don't know. It's just, to me, you got to do it again after a draw in a championship fight. If the UFC wants to move forward in certain matchups that end in draw, that's fine. If they're on the lower level, if they're not top ranked caliber, and even if they are, I mean, the freaking vacant light heavyweight championship fight, Ankalaev Blachowicz ended in a draw. There's no rematch, but it's not like the, champion retained the title there off of a draw. So I personally say, we go Grasso, Shevchenko 3. We go Blanchfield versus Fialho for the ultimate number 1 contender fight.
In my school of thought, which is, it's just our opinions, man, I think that the division needs to keep moving, and that when you get a shot at a champion, if you did not do enough to get that belt, if you left it so close, if you're Valentina Shevchenko and you let this woman mount you and take your back and elbow you in the head like that, that was you fucking up your shot at the title. You got your shot and you didn't get it, regardless of, even if it was, deserving to, even if she deserved a 3-2 decision, that's pretty fucking close. And you're not the champ. And, so I don't mind having even one fight, like let Blanchfield get her shot. Valentina Shevchenko, can fight a top contender and then get through. So I don't mind. Let me say it this way. I think there are too many instant rematches in combat sports. I like new blood. So yes, to answer your question, if I think your ask was like Strickland and Adesanya, or if it was Pereira and Adesanya, would we want Hamzat to get the next shot? Fuck yeah. If Hamzat goes out there and lays waste to Paulo Costa, which is not what I'm saying he's going to do, but if he did that, fuck yeah, I'd rather see the Hamzat fight. So I like new blood. I like more people getting a crack at the title. If you fight to a close decision or a draw, that's your fault.
I respect that school of thought. I guess I just view it as Valentina's legacy aids into especially another fight because of so many championship wins. And the fact that it looks like, as you said, the better fighter is Shevchenko, but in the actual fight, Grasso performs better. I'd like to see it. I'll watch it a third time, but I do love the idea of new blood. I was hoping we would get, if Shevchenko won, I thought we would get Fialho Shevchenko. If Grasso won, I thought we'd get Grasso Blanchfield.
All good fights, and I like Grasso Blanchfield. I guess that's what I'm saying. Is I want to see Hamzat in the title fight. I want to see Blanchfield get the title shot. They deserve it. Not Hamzat yet. I keep fucking overblowing this. I think Paulo Costa is a problem for Hamzat, but we'll cross that bridge, folks. It was a sick fight, and of course I want to see them fight again, whether it's next or one away.
Let's go. I like the take, and the co-main event, we'll bring it up as well. It was Kevin Holland and Jack Della Maddalena. It was a split decision, and there was a good chunk of people that felt like maybe Kevin Holland could have been awarded it on the cards, but I know Mike and I both saw it for Jack Della. I thought he was clearly the winner. He landed the more effective strikes on the feet. He pressured for the majority of the fight. Kevin Holland had some decent straights that got through the guard. I like the side kick, the front kicks, but there wasn't any moments that made you even wonder, oh shit, is he potentially going to get, Jack Della hurt? Whereas there was a couple moments where Kevin Holland's moving backwards and Jack Della rips low to the body, comes up high. I thought he was a clear winner, no argument. I think a split decision was almost, a gift for Kevin Holland. It's a split. We can argue it could have went my way. I thought it was Jack Della, unanimous decision on my card, really. I thought 29-28 clearly.
Yeah, we talked about this before we went live, guys. How the hell is Daniel Cormier saying, I don't know, this thing's close, this thing's up in the air? The commentators are all saying how close it is, and then you hear John Anik chiming in like, well, the stats aren't very close. It appears that JDM, Jack Della Maddalena, is ahead in this one, more accurate strikes. JDM won all 3 rounds of that fight. He was landing big combinations. I mean, he got Kevin Holland to pull away and would move his head in there, pop, pop, double up on the left hook, come over the top with the right hand. He was putting nice shots on him. And if anything, it was just Jack Della Maddalena laying off the gas, you know? So I like that Jack Della Maddalena pick. Any of you guys who put it down, good work. And yeah, it was more dominant than I expected. I mean, he really took the weapons of Kevin Holland and just made them not count. Like, when did Kevin Holland rock him? When did Kevin Holland really use that pop, that sniper cross he's got? I didn't see much of it, man. I thought generally Kevin Holland got his butt kicked. And if anything, it was just JDM laying off the gas, where sometimes Kevin Holland would get his strikes off because he felt like he was up. So split decision, I didn't see it.
Yeah. I thought it was 2 rounds to 1. I am going to give Holland the second. Obviously, the rewatch would be more accurate. But in the moment, I scored it 29-28. But no argument for the winner. It should have been Jack Della. And if it went Holland's way, I think that would have been a bad decision.
Yeah, activate a. Commentators always try to do that to build suspense. Look, I've done commentary for XFO, Who's Your Fight Club, live on UFC Fight Pass. I never, ever, ever tried to lie to you guys. I think Joe Rogan said it best to Chael Sonnen. You know, Chael asked Joe, hey, I'm going to do my first commentary. Do you have any advice for me? Joe says, if you don't see it, don't say it. And I think that's the best advice to go off of. And, you know, I think potentially what was the case is Daniel Cormier has trained Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland came to wrestle with him. So sometimes when you're seeing your friend fight, you're more so watching their strikes and maybe even rooting for him. So, you know, no harm, no foul. But I didn't think that was close.
No, I thought Jack Della, rightful winner. And he's got a fun run that he's going to be making up at 170. I guess the real matchup that I'd be so curious to see play out would be Ian Gary versus Jack Della, but they're not going to place 2 perennial contenders right now against one another. But that's a dogfight. Welcome to the UFC. Throw them in. But I feel like maybe you give Jack Della the Sean Brady booking. I guess I just worry how Sean Brady's grappling going to look there. He could potentially get some takedowns. We're looking at an interesting fight.
Yeah,
I think
don't kill the rising star, AJ. You're going to give him the wrestler after the last fight he had?
True.
You know, I don't know.
What do we give him? Luque? Luque's a scary fight,
give him a striker. Keep him with the strikers, man. Do it like they did for Alex Pereira. They're like, oh, hey, here's a nice little fast track to the title shot, my friend. Don't you worry about these wrestlers. Do them right, because JDM's too fun, man. He's too fun to watch.
All right, Jeff Neal.
Yeah,
that's
Jeff
the fight.
Neal, Luque. I like Ian Gary. Fuck yeah, I'm there for that fight. Let's go.
That would be a dope matchup, but I think they'll avoid doing that. They don't want to place them against one another because you got 2 guys that you can build that are looking like future contenders. Listen, welterweight's at a great place. Kevin Holland, I don't think he lost a ton of stock here. He lost to a damn good prospect. More fun fights to come. I don't know who's next, but he called out Neil Magny, and I kind of like the stylistic matchup there.
Fair enough. Neil Magny call out. Wow, very brave. No, I'm just kidding.
No, hey, he's still ranked.
Cool. Yeah, take out the rankings. I mean, I think sometimes these guys look at the rankings and they go, who can I definitely beat in these rankings? You know, those aren't juicy call outs though, man. We want to hear you fucking step up and say, I want, and then say the toughest guy in the division, you know? That's how you do it, WWE style, folks. Come on now. And I do think they'll both be at the top of the division for a while, man. Yeah, Kevin Holland, very entertaining, no big deal. But I agree with some people in the chat I'm seeing here saying, why didn't he shoot? It's like, be an MMA fighter, Kevin. You know,
he missed that one. 0-2, they said. Yeah, he did get stuffed a couple times. I don't think he's got that good offensive wrestling. I think his submission game slick. I just think he's not great at getting takedowns. He looks for, you know, the open mat takedowns. But if, you know, you just look at the Dagestani guys, I mean, what is their great success? A lot of times it's that cage work, man. Work against the cage, get them down from there. I feel like it's not Kevin Holland's forte. And I guess being 6'3" at 170, the physical strength, maybe, you know, it's hard to be the strongest guy in the weight class when you're also the tallest guy in the weight class.
Yeah. Well, John Jones
At
was always the
specimen.
strongest
True.
light heavyweight. Some of these
True.
guys with the wiry strength,
Mm.
you'll come against them. I mean, I've done it wrestling, right? High school wrestling. You'd always think the short, stocky guys. Sometimes that long, wiry
Yeah.
strength is really tough to deal with. A couple matches like come to mind, like flooding with like high school memories right now of
Yeah.
wrestling those tall wrestlers, dude.
Yeah.
You get like that tall, lanky, explosive guy. Those guys are tough to deal with. So he could, but that's not Kevin Holland. Yeah,
Right.
Kevin Holland is this like, really quick boxer who's got a pretty dynamic jiu-jitsu game. I just want to see him get better. I want to see Kevin Holland keep getting more well-rounded. He's a Travis Lutter black belt. We don't get to see it that often. It'd have been fun for him to dust it off. But Jack Della Maddalena didn't jump any stupid guillotines.
No.
He didn't do any dumb shit.
No.
He's back on track. He was tough to beat.
Back. Yeah, he looked good. Good win for Jack Della. Noche UFC. It was a fun card. I enjoyed the whole damn thing. The lock streak continues for me. We're sitting at 5 locks in a row, looking for 6 after this week. I'm looking forward to it. Mike's getting his streak back. What's going on with the parlay, Mike Finch?
I got the 3 lock streak, and I got 9 out of my last 10 parlays, folks. Come on, people. Come on. We're doing all right over here, and we're going to keep it rolling.
Let's go. Let's go. Guys, we're going to jump into the fights for UFC Vegas 79. So make sure you guys smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We got Tamires Vidal versus Montserrat Rendon. And listen, I know the picture on the screen. Mike Finch probably hasn't seen it yet. He's ready to go after it. She looks like a fucking monster in that one right there. It's a crop out, man. We didn't have any quality PNGs. I only had some low pixels, you know what I'm saying? Some low resolution. But we got a fight here. And my pick is going to be Tamires Vidal because I think she's clearly more dangerous than Rendon. Though Rendon's got a strong grappling game, good clinch pressure, and I feel like her takedowns are fairly good. She's got no finishes as a pro MMA fighter. Vidal's definitely more dangerous, and I think she's competent in the grappling department too. And I'd say Rendon's striking is rather suspect. So I'm going to go Vidal. And I think she can knock her out, but Rendon being a Mexican fighter, you never know for sure, man. We got to bring up Pick'em MMA real quick with a dono. My guy, Pick'em MMA changed his logo. Look at this guy. Wow. Thank you for the $5 Canadian, my bro. Let's go, boys. Let's get the Drono train rolling. Thank you, Pick'em.
Thank you, brother. Train. Yeah, I see people jumping in. Hey, give us your Bellator picks, this and that. We will throw a little dono. You're definitely getting answered. Right now, we got to do UFC picks for this card, though. So first off, can I address this image? Holy shit. You said Vidal's the scarier one, bro. Look at that image. That is horrifying. It looks like you got that out of like The Walking Dead that was shot in the 50s or whatever the fuck. That is crazy. Look, I was checking her out before we went live here, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, and I saw her shoot one of the worst double leg takedowns I have ever seen against Cloudy was the girl's name. Man, I mean, elbows wide like she was about to hug Chris Christie. I mean, it was a bad double leg takedown. So I think that Tamires Vidal should lay her out. I think Tamires Vidal probably finishes her. She moves forward and seems rather susceptible to me. I do think Tamires Vidal will smoke her.
Yeah, she should smoke her. I mean, the stylistic matchup, I think, is favorable. I feel like Vidal is going to hurt her, like you said, in the striking. Rendon stand-up, I'm going to say, is a red flag type of stand-up. And then looking at the odds, we got minus 211 for Vidal. We got Rendon at plus 181. Listen, Vidal, she might be a big favorite. She should win. Fight is expected to go distance. That's at minus 245 for over 2.5. And then the Vidal knockout is all the way up at plus 800. She's got potential to win by knockout. Now, could she end up going 3 rounds and beating up Rendon? Sure. But I do think knockout's live. I mean, if you look at the other side of Rendon, she's got strong enough grappling to fight off the submission attempts, I think, if Vidal did decide to go that route. So I think it's decision or knockout, but something's telling me knockout because of Rendon's lack of stand-up skill.
Yeah, absolutely. And just can she take Vidal down? I don't think so. So
Yeah.
Vidal all day. I like Vidal in this one. I don't usually, a first fight of the night. Like I went and checked. I like Money Moicano. Shout out to Money
Yeah,
Moicano.
he's
And I
good.
went and checked. He doesn't even cover these fights on YouTube. Like he doesn't even, you know what I mean? He doesn't cover the early ones. So that's what people think about betting on these types of fights. It's like you're not supposed to. Here's one I'm thinking of. I mean, Tamires Vidal. This looks like a mismatch to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's going to end up getting a clear W. So Vidal, a pick for Finch and I both. And let's keep running up the card. Next fight on it, we have the ladies going after it back to back. We got Mizuki Inoue versus Hannah Goldy. Listen, I'm picking Mizuki Inoue. I still believe she's got a good skill set, right? Like I think that it's 3 years off, something that people forget about. She was a favorite going into her fight against Amanda Lemos. Obviously, Lemos turned out to be a monster.
Yeah.
So Inoue still, I feel like, is an okay prospect. She's got pretty good boxing. I like the head movement. She does work a pretty nice high guard. Her clinch skill set is strong, and I'd say her submission game is rather nice. She's known for arm bars, 8 wins by armbar with 1 rear naked choke, so 9 sub wins overall. I think it's a pretty impressive stat, man. She's good at snatching arms. On the side of Hannah Goldy, though, she is a physical specimen, really strong girl, very muscular. Like super muscular, enough so where I went to USADA's testing page to check how many times she got tested in 2023. 5 times. So clean athlete, but I had to see because her physique is out of this world, man. I think.
Wait. You went to USADA's testing page? That's a thing?
I went to the database to see how many times you've been tested. Yeah.
You wanted to know how many times. So if she hadn't been tested,
I would have been very
tested...
suspect.
Okay.
I would have been very suspect, but you've been tested. So I'm not gonna, not going to make assumptions.
Hannah Goldy, AJ
Exactly.
says, you don't pass the eye test, ma'am.
No. Eye test, no, but we're all about the drug test, baby. So at the end of the day, she's passing USADA. I got no issue. She's just jacked. She's got great genetics. She is like a kickboxing-based striker, too.
Yeah, Chael Sonnen said it best. He said the drug comes before the test, so you never really know, right, folks?
Fair.
So maybe we'll see some picograms at some point. I don't know, but yeah, she's definitely in a bodybuilding competition. AJ, gold.
She does well. Gold. Goldie's a jacked frame, and I mean, I'm curious to see how the strength is going to work inside of the grappling positions. Now, I'm picking Inoue to win. I'm going to say she gets a decision in this fight. I think that she can outwork Hannah Goldy. I think she's the better technical fighter. But hey, I'd be lying if I didn't say Goldy was scary. I mean, look at the frame on her.
24K gold, Hannah Goldy. She looks muscular, but does she apply it? Like, does she apply it that well? And especially against a good grappler, a submission artist, somebody who's going to be able to snatch stuff up on the ground. And then, on the feet, you're getting knocked out by Molly Meatball. I don't know. I feel like 3 years out is a long time. I think this could be a little bit more competitive. But yeah, I like Inoue. Am I saying her name right?
Inoue.
That's like
Inoue.
the pride fighter, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Inoue. We're probably
that's
fucking
it.
that up. Somebody at home is like, these assholes always messing up last names. Look, I like Mizuki. I do think Mizuki could get a submission here, or at least a decision in her first fight back. But 3 years out is a long time. I think AJ brings up a good point. She left at a very high level. I mean, it was a loss to Amanda Lemos, but before that, it was a win against Yanan Wu, Vivian Pereira. She fought Verna Jandaroba to a split decision before that. She was fighting the top of the division. I mean, look at what those names turned out to do. A lot of good stuff. Amanda Lemos working all the way to a title shot. So, yeah, you got to think Mizuki's got this one. Let's take her.
So Mizuki to win by submission line, I'm going to bring up real quick just to bring the props up, because it's plus 300 for her by sub, and then decision is minus 140. Now, the money line for Mizuki Inoue is minus 310, so it's pretty wide. But she is clearly the better fighter here. It's about how does she perform after 3 years off. I think at the end of the day, bro, only 29 years old, we could be looking at a girl that's even better than before. So I'm going to say Inoue comes back real good. I called decision, but I like the submission side. I think she could bully a Goldy potentially. I feel like she's going to be a lot slicker with her technique.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think she's higher level. Yeah. 24K gold. She's just not, if anything, this would be a compliment to her. I think it'd be a gatekeeper. I think that'd be a compliment to her. As to where Mizuki, I don't know where the ceiling will be. So glad to have her back, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for Mizuki. Women's 115, if she can make a run up, I mean, her only losses are against ranked opposition now. So let's see what Mizuki brings with 3 years out. Inoue for the win for us both. Let's keep running up the card. The next fight is Jake Collier versus Mohammed Usman. Listen, Mike, I'm going Mohammed Usman. I got to go with the muscles over the chub. Now, it's not because, I'm saying physiques win fights, but it's the fact that Jake Collier isn't known for a great gas tank. So his way to win this fight, I think, could be a potential later stoppage, but I don't think he's going to have the speed in those later rounds. Normally, he comes out pretty fast. I feel like Usman has still got the nuclear threat. He's a very heavy-handed guy, regardless of at times him not having the best boxing from the outside, especially. Sometimes he's missing with hooks from out of range and stuff like that, but he's really fucking strong. He's a really good athlete. His clinch game is solid, and he does have decent enough takedowns. I see Collier and him as a fairly competitive fight, but I think Usman can win the second and third round and potentially get a decision in this one. I'll go Usman, Mike Finch.
Yeah, I mean, look at Usman. He beat Junior Tafa in his last fight. And then the Zach Pauga, it was the Ultimate Fighter finale that he fought on. That was a good striker too. So he's taken out guys who are solid strikers. So Collier, I think, has to get this thing onto the ground, and he hasn't really shown me that he's going to be capable of taking Mohammed Usman down. That would be the best thing, right? If Collier could put that chub, as you called it, on top of him, and physiques are only going to come into play when the martial arts and the skill sets are there to handle it. It's like you could have a faster race car than me, but if your 3-year-old is driving and it doesn't matter, I'm going to beat them. So you need those skills. You need those, how many fat guys, Roy Nelson. I mean, how many times do we need to see fat guys knock out these meatheads? It's not. It's not physique versus physique. You can't judge a book by its cover like that, So speaking of from a guy who's never had a good 6-pack and who's beaten some people in MMA with 6-packs. Okay, you can't judge the book by its cover. We're not. I think Mo Usman has a lot more ability to get a KO here. I could see Usman getting a finish in the first round. I think that would be, maybe 60% chance that he knocks him out in the first round, and then if he doesn't, I could imagine him grinding his way to a decision here. He needs to defend takedowns and let his hands go. If he does those two things, I got Mo Usman all day in this matchup. Collier has been one of the more bottom feeder heavyweights. Let's be honest. I mean, his wins are against the guys who are leaving the division. Like, if I remember correctly, Sherman, I'm not even looking at his record right now, but he's on a little loss. Martin Boudet, he just fought, right? Now I got him pulled up. Chris Barnett, he lost to. Andrei Arlovsky, it was a very close decision, but he lost the split decision. Chase Sherman, who we got the rear naked choke over. Gian Vellante, he got a win over, but Gian Vellante is like a middleweight fighting at heavyweight. That's not Mo Usman. But the Chase Sherman one's interesting. Rear naked choke. That's what he wants to do. If Collier gets on top, he can win this fight. Otherwise, I don't think he does. Could be a live bet touch. Could be a live bet.
I'm going to go Usman for the win, man. As far as the odds, though, between these two, we're looking at it over here. It is a plus 135 underdog in Jake Collier, and then it's Mohammed Usman as a minus 155 favorite. So the pick is going to be Mo Usman for us both. Fairly close line here. Over 1.5 is minus 225. I think there is a real chance this thing goes into the later stages just with the stylistic matchup. But Usman lands on the chin. He can knock out a lot of heavyweights. That's something just has to be said. Don't love the props here. An Usman decision is plus 135. Collier by sub plus 1,000. Usman by knockout plus 450.
Plus 1,000. You got me thinking about touching that one. If I'm watching this fight and Collier's like hitting easy takedowns in the first round, in between rounds, those live odds pop up. I would touch Collier. Yeah, for sure. He needs a takedown though.
I feel he's gonna struggle to get it.
Yeah,
his wrestling at heavyweight hasn't ever looked that great aside from the Sherman fight. I think that it's going to be Usman winning. I'm riding with the Mo Usman side. He's got more upside as a heavyweight too. Whereas you look on the other side, Collier's a guy that was a middleweight. He was in great shape, shredded, decided to move up to heavyweight after a bit of a layoff. I just don't love the chances of a win here. So we're going with Usman for the W in this fight right here. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight on it is Jacob Malkoun versus Cody Brundage. Mike Finch, I think this is a bit of a mismatch. Jacob Malkoun just had a rather competitive loss to Brendan Allen, and Cody Brundage just took an L to Cedriquez Dumas. And there was moments in that fight where he was on his back. He was getting controlled on the ground, had his back taken, didn't really look all that good in that matchup, which I think many of us, and, including me, thought that he had a real chance of winning. I thought that the wrestling skill set would really come in handy there. Now, I believe that fight was on short notice. I'm just going to bring up who was originally scheduled. Yeah, it was supposed to be Dumas versus Soriano. Brundage stepped in on short notice and replaced him. So respect to Brundage stepping in late, and that's why he's obviously being given a spot again. But talk about taking a loss and now fighting a better guy. I mean, this is a jump up in competition. This is a real prospect in Jacob Malkoun, who's a really, really good grinder, kind of like an old style, right? Throwback. He can embrace the grind, John Fitch style. And he's also, he's fought as a pro boxer too. So it's not like Malkoun's incapable of striking. To me, it's Malkoun all day. Finishing ability isn't great for Malkoun. So that's something that I see. Decision. Brundage is tough, but Malkoun on the cards.
Yeah, Malhoun's got some hands too, like you said, but the win over Nick Maximov, like, come on, if you're beating Nick Maximov like that, you should be able to smash Cody Brundage. He should be able to take Cody down, and that's where he does his best work. He's got nice judo. He's a grappling coach for an MMA champion, and I'm forgetting.
Whitaker?
Is it Rob Whitaker? Yeah,
Well,
he's
was
Rob
working
Whitaker's
with him for a
grappling
long
coach.
time. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So, I mean, Rob Whitaker could grapple. That's pretty good. I like Malkoun here. I think he could potentially get a finish, but just money line him, and I think this is a mismatch. I agree with you.
Now, as far as the odds, we are looking at something that's teetering on to the very wide side. Malkoun, minus 450, the favorite. Brundage, plus 350, the underdog here. So we got wide odds between these two. Now, interesting, the over 1.5 is minus 250. I guess I'm assuming it's going that over, but I'd rather, throw Malkoun in a parlay than risk it on the over, and then Brundage gives up his back and gets strangled here. I'm looking at the Malkoun props here. We have TKO at plus 500, sub at plus 200, and decision at plus 130. But something to note about Jacob Malkoun, he has 0 submission wins.
Wow. I didn't know that.
He's a good grappler, but hasn't gotten the win by sub. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, though.
So Malkoun decision is what we're saying.
That's what I'm thinking, man. Malkoun on the cards.
There you go. Malkoun decision, if we just put the prop up, would be...
the decision prop is
Does that
sitting
help?
at 130. Plus 130 is better than minus 450.
Nice. Yeah, plus 130. That's really likely. Malkoun decision is really likely. So, although, if he's going to get a finish, it's probably against Cody Brundage.
Yeah. Hey, I think you have a point, man. If
I
he's
think
money,
we gotta like Moneyline, right? We gotta like Moneyline. I mean, anytime I'm messing around with little $5 bets and I'm on the app, I definitely hit higher percentage when I just go Moneyline, obviously, right? So be careful. Realize how much more of a risk you're taking when you choose the finish. It's better to get some money than no money, folks.
Yeah, let's go Malkoun for the win. I think he's got this thing, man. W for Malkoun incoming. Next fight on the card, it's Andre Fialho versus Tim Means, the Dirty Bird. Listen, I sat on this one for a little bit, Mike, but I came to the conclusion I have to go Fialho to get the knockout here, man. Tim Means, 10 years older than him. He's still a decent fighter. And I mean, he has a close decision with Max Griffin 2 fights ago. Fialho, you look at the last fight against Buckley and we dig into the first round, I thought he was actually looking a little bit more patient than normal. Seems like he's being more calculated. Granted, Buckley able to knock him out. It's one of those matchups. Sometimes that happens. Means is not a crazy power puncher. He's not known for that. Tim Means is a guy that can brawl, but he can also lock up things on the floor. He can definitely kickbox. he's one of those vets, man, that can kind of do everything. He's veteran savvy. He's a good overall MMA fighter. But the problem is he's 10 years older than Fialho. And I think the way Fialho throws his power, he's due for a knockout. And it might be Tim Means' time to taste a big shot. So we're going Fialho KO, my friend.
Fialho KO all day. Come on, folks. This is how Fialho bounces back. How many of you guys were on the Fialho train? You admitted it, home. Come on. When he was on a roll, banging that hook. People were fans. People were picking him. He was coming in as a favorite. He was doing nice. And then he went on a little skid. And now everybody hopped off the train. And it's just poor old Andre Fialho all alone. He ain't even that old. I don't mean to say it like that. Andre Fialho's got power, folks. And I think he puts it together here against Dirty Bird. Come on, man. He has to bounce back right here. Dirty Bird clearly on the way down. I do think we see a second resurgence of Fialho. It starts on Saturday. Confident pick. Andre Fialho knockout.
Andre Fialho knockout. Me and Mike Finch are on the same side of this one. Now, as far as the odds for the fight, it's not that crazy. Fialho minus 171. Means at plus 146. We're looking at Fialho knockout minus 110 for a knockout win for him. Listen, minus 110 for a knockout win. Damn, it's even Stevens. Then it's at minus 170. Normally you're looking at a minus 110 if he's like a 3-1 favorite, right? So it seems like, they know he's got that nuclear option. I think that's the most likely method of victory. And you look at him taking 3 losses. He's 29. Means is on a 3-fight losing streak. He's 39. So I think that Fialho should be able to still improve. I mean, there's an argument that he's just now entering his prime. So I'm going Fialho.
Exactly. I didn't even know he was that young. You said 29.
29.
Bro, I'm 31, bro. I feel like I got a lot of miles. I feel like I'm in my prime. So 39 years old, though, that's another story. 39 years old, especially, at 170 pounds or less. I mean, that's not good. That's not good, right?
It's weight class specific a lot of the time, right? What if you're 39 at heavyweight, I'm not even really batting an eye unless there's evidence to be. But if you're at 170 and below 39, taking on a guy with big power like Fialho, I think it's just one of those matchups that Tim Means can get his lights put out, man. And I'm going to say he does.
Now, I'm interested in this one. This is for the fans. This is for the people. AJ, tell us why it's the case that at 39 at heavyweight, you're not batting an eye, but at 39 at 145, it's over.
Power's last thing to go. Naturally, I think that the reflexes slightly slow a bit as you probably hit 37, 38, 39, especially with a lot of miles on the car. But at the lower weight classes, the speed of the guys is something that's harder to keep up with. And then you add on top of potential injuries from the past and then complications later on. Maybe the training camp, you can't recover to the same. Your testosterone levels are not as high as they were at 29. There's a lot of factors going into it. So I would say optimally 39 as a smaller guy, 170 and below is definitely kind of the red zone. That could be it. They could win, not impossible, but odds are against them. And just in general, right? 10 plus year age differences in MMA, especially if it's 29 versus 39, statistically, you got to favor Fialho a ton.
Yeah, and I would just add in there just that heavyweight and light heavyweight too, they're not as deep. And so when you get these super deep divisions like a 155, these lighter, it's just harder to stay on top. It's just harder to stay on top, man. There's just so much talent. So you have to be going full speed as to where, an Andre Arlovsky can hang around into his 40s, Dixon Sider wants to bet me a shoey. He thinks Tim Means has got this shit. Some of these guys are on Tim Means. Look, Dixon, you watch this show often. You know I don't drink alcohol out of a shoe because I'm not an animal, okay? However, so far, Fialho's my most confident pick on the card.
I like it, Finch. And shout out W Beef. He says, first time listening live. Love the content, W. Thank you, man. Listen, I see some people in the chat complaining, you guys are not answering us, whatever. Me and Finch are breaking it down, going back and forth, man.
Most people watch this afterwards, folks, okay? Most people aren't like you guys here with us live. We love the live audience. Make no mistake about it. But most people watch this afterwards, so we got to keep this ball rolling.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Listen, Fialho, he's the call for us both. Let's get to the next fight on the card. It's Miles Johns versus Dan Argueta. Mike Finch, I'm picking Miles Johns to win this fight. Dan Argueta can definitely wrestle, but I'm not so confident that he's taken down Miles Johns consistently, who comes from a wrestling base, is a great athlete, is super explosive, and add into the fact that Miles Johns has legitimate knockout power. I don't think Argueta has the stand-up game, and I really feel like Miles Johns is going to end up knocking him out. We're going to be caught striking. Argueta's got potential shot coming after him. Could be an uppercut on the inside. You know that there's power with the straights by the side of Miles Johns, man. I think Miles Johns is going to do his thing. I think people are going to go crazy for Miles Johns after this one, man.
I'm at UFC Gym Costa Mesa a couple weeks ago. I go upstairs. I'm like, you guys got a mat area upstairs? I run into this short little powerhouse of a guy, this little stacked bodybuilder. He turns around. It's Dan Argueta. And I'm like, what's up, man? We talked a little bit, and I'm like, oh man, I'd love to come train, this and that. He's like, yeah, I'd love to have you. So maybe after this one, I got to get some rounds in with Dan Argueta. So I'm totally rooting for him. So there's the bias. Look, he's been getting rounds in with like funky guys like Cub Swanson and, Mark the Shark Irwin, who's a bare knuckle champion. And, he's in there with guys who are trying to put big punches on him. So I respect the Miles Johns overhand right. I mean, it's live, right? He's put people out with it. He could definitely do it. And he is hard to take down. It's a good point. So it's kind of, I agree, a bad matchup for Dan Argueta. I see what you're seeing. If you guys are betting Miles Johns, I'm not telling you not to do that, but I'm going Dan Argueta. I think Dan Argueta does get on top in this fight. And even when he doesn't, he's going to put that smash on Miles Johns, slow him down a little bit, take that power away, put some blood in the shoulders, work him on the fence. I do think that his cardio is pretty underrated. Like Dan Argueta, for a heavily muscled guy, can push you and smash you hard for 3 rounds. And over 15 minutes, I think he gets 2 out of the 3 rounds. Dan Argueta decision.
I like it, man. I respect the Dan Argueta side. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's got potential. I just think Miles Johns is a hard fight. And Johns is slept on a lot, man. I feel like he's like the forgotten 13-2 guy. Plus 150 Miles Johns. He's a dog. When I broke this fight down, on paper, right? I then went to the odds afterwards, like Mike Finch likes to do. And I said to myself, no fucking way. Miles Johns is a plus 150 dog. I thought the lines would be flipped. So if somebody had Argueta at plus money, I was, hey, I understand that dog side, but I guess the lines kind of boggled my mind a bit, seeing that the guy I thought was the favorite ends up being the underdog. I think Miles Johns got it, man. I'm going against you, Finch, but I do understand that if Argueta can get the car in drive and he's consistent with these takedowns, and if he gets on top and Miles Johns is flattened out, he starts fatiguing, Argueta is a nightmare to deal with from that position, man. Yeah. I'd say it's a really close fight. So if you're going to bet it, I'm going Miles Johns as an underdog. I think he's going to win it, but there's obviously an argument towards Dan Argueta, which is why we're looking at plus 150.
Yeah, man. When I heard you make that breakdown, I like to watch your show. When I heard you make that breakdown, I was like, oh shit, he might be right. We'll see. I'm tell you one thing. I'm definitely rooting for Dan Argueta. And I'll tell you guys another thing. There are better bets on this card than this fight. Good fight.
Plus 150 is the money line. I'm also going to read off the KO prop for Johns. It's plus 450. But note that Dan Argueta is going to be no easy guy to put away. So if you like the dog, the best side is always money line. We're on opposite ends on this one, my man. And now it's time to jump towards the main card. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you haven't. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. It's Charles Jourdain versus Ricardo Ramos. I don't understand why Ramos is being rewarded for missing weight by 8 pounds and costing Austin Lingo a fight. Because to me, Charles Jourdain is a step up in competition. And it's a name that, most fans know about. If you follow the sport, at least with a pretty close eye, you know who Charles Jourdain is. He's an explosive and entertaining striker. And for Ramos, getting a win over someone like him would be huge for his resume. I just don't know if he can do it. And not picking Ramos does sometimes pain me a little bit, because simply I remember watching Ramos, even in loss to Zubaira Tukhugov, fight prior to that, like even when he lost to Lerone Murphy. I just think he always shows glimpses of really high level skill set. And then like what he did to Danny Chavez with the spinning elbow was badass, but I wonder where the mind's at. The mental with the big weight miss is concerning. And I got Charles Jourdain that is consistently performing pretty well. He gave hell to Shane Burgos. He gave a good fight, but lost to Nathaniel Wood. And then obviously last time out, he fought Kron Gracie, who, let's not talk about that fight. Charles Jourdain is a dangerous guy. He's an explosive and fast guy. I think he's a better boxer than Ramos. Ramos, the better kicker. Maybe the more creative guy is Ramos, but a little more speed on the side of Jourdain. It's going to be real interesting because I think Ramos is going to look to potentially land some takedowns in this fight. I think Jourdain could scramble well on the ground too. I'm going to go Jourdain for the win. I'm going to ride with him, but I do respect Ramos on the other side. And I guess I don't want to say I'm necessarily rooting for Ramos, but I am a fan of Ramos, so I wouldn't be upset getting this one wrong as a fan.
I'm going for the ever so slight dog, a little dog. It's a Chihuahua. It's a little yappy dog. I'm going for him because those glimpses, the spinning back elbows that he hits, man, the submissions that he can find. I like that against the Charles Jourdain, who Charles has showed us that he's gassed a little bit, and he gives people moments in fights sometimes. Like Charles Jourdain, okay, we'll skip the last one. Let's talk about maybe Shane Burgos. Shane Burgos, completely blew his legs out. He said when he was squeezing that body triangle, he couldn't feel his legs no more. When he sat on the stool, he said it was like a Shane Carwin moment. Remember Shane Carwin against Brock Lesnar? He's like, I can't feel my legs. They're like, go out there and do your best. Brock hits a double on him and it's over. So Shane goes out there and still wins that third round. And that's the type of shit I could see Ricardo Ramos doing, man. I could definitely see him wrapping something up. Although Charles Jourdain is a jiu-jitsu black belt, I can see him landing that spinning back elbow. Although Charles Jourdain's a great striker. Tough one for me to pick. I'm going a little wild on the Ricardo Ramos side, especially since my buddy, my dude, the human backpack, Manny Vazquez, did beat him. He strangled Ricardo Ramos. That was 2016. This guy at 145, that was back when he was at 135. The 145-pound Ricardo Ramos is more dangerous on the feet every time we see him. I do imagine that he could get this thing done. So there's I'll take Chihuahua-sized dog, Ricardo Ramos, and dude, I honestly think the spinning back elbow could hit here. Charles Jourdain likes to keep his hands up, but I see it coming over the top. Charles Jourdain, I like that at least when he comes forward, he keeps the hands high. He's not a crazy striker. A lot of times when Ricardo Ramos is catching these guys, he's getting them pulling their head back. That's not a big mistake that Charles Jourdain makes. Essentially what I'm saying, this is a tough fight to pick, right? Because Jourdain is more sound overall. Ricardo Ramos, in my opinion, more dangerous.
He's a dangerous mofo. I like the pick. I'm glad that somebody on the show is picking Ramos going into this one. And we got to shout out Tiratu Paku. Hey, Finch and AJ killing it with the money line every week. I'm keen for this weekend. Decent card. And I've got some good sparring sessions lined up. Hey, Tiratu Paku, keep doing your thing with boxing. Keep loosening it up. Get those sparring sessions in, man. And, go kick some ass, my friend. Get some good work.
Post them for us, man. I always tell anybody I train at UFC Gym Huntington Beach, film your sparring. Mayhem Miller was a regular at King's MMA when it first opened in Huntington Beach here. And Mayhem told me, he's like, the biggest difference nowadays is I film all of my sparring. And when I do that, I get to be my own critic. I get to go home and watch. I don't like how I drop my jab there. I don't like how I'm heavy on my front foot. And you could really analyze yourself. So in the YouTube era, in the 2023 era, share your sparring and make sure you're watching it too. Film your stuff, man. Thanks for donating. Appreciate you.
Tiratu Paco, my man. Appreciate you, bro. I'm going to bring up the betting lines for this one here. It's Mike Finch's micro dog plus 124. Hey, it's still a dog, bro. Right. Minus 144 for Jourdain. I like it. Looking at a fight going distance over 2.5, it's minus 135 with two emphatic strikers like this. That's kind of scary, but you can see it going long. What's Ramos to win by sub? Let's see this. Plus 500 in a Ramos KO. is sitting at plus 800. Jourdain by decision, plus 185. Yeah, close lines on both sides, man. It's a bit of a coin flip fight. I think both dudes have a lot of potential in the weight class, and we're young guys too, man. Looking at the age, right? This is like perennial future contenders, 28 versus 27. They're a year or two out before they really are in that prime. So I think that the side of how much is actually a good dog call if you like him, Finch. But I think coin flip fight at the end of the day. I'll go Jourdain.
Yeah, I definitely think this is a closer to a 50-50 fight, right? Enjoy it, folks.
I'm going to be enjoying the hell out of it, man.
Dixon, I hate to keep shouting out Dixon. He's taking all the air up. Is Juliana Miller Mayhem Miller's daughter? That would explain a lot. No, brother. You don't want to be Mayhem Miller's daughter. Could you imagine if Mayhem Miller had kids? I don't know if he has kids. The guy was, should I rip up Mayhem really quick? The guy was found butt naked in a church. They arrested him because he vandalized a local church. He was found butt naked. He went to jail. This guy is out of his mind. All right. I love Mayhem Miller, but no, Juliana Miller is not his daughter.
As far as we know.
I mean, Mayhem's out here, he's slinging some banana. I don't know what he's got going on. I can't DNA test Juliana Miller. They don't look alike. The ages don't match up. I don't know. Mayhem Miller used to come out with all those dancers. I don't know what he was doing at the after party.
True. Mayhem's a street legend, man. So we wish well to Mayhem Miller over here. I like Mayhem.
Hell yeah. Mayhem is awesome. Who watched Bully Beatdown? Raise the hands. Who watched Bully Beatdown? Was good, dude. I saw Bully Beatdown. I'm like, this guy figured it out, man. I want to host some shit like that.
Why is it not back with a new host? Why don't we bring Bully Beatdown back? It's an awesome
I'm back. Hire me for the job. Bully Beatdown. And they could beat up a lot of these bullies in this chat talking all this shit. All right. No, I think that Bully Beatdown was a fun show, dude. MTV? Was it Versus?
MTV, bro.
MTV, dude. Those were the days back when MTV mattered. Those were the
MTV
days.
was the shit, bro. As a kid, all I would do when I get home from school, I'm talking second, third, fourth grade. I was an odd kid. I was watching MTV. Pimp My Ride back then, bro. You had what's that show where they try to find the new fucking girlfriend or boyfriend, the parents pick? What was that show? I don't remember the name, but it was something great, bro. It was a legendary show.
There were a lot of legendary shows on that channel. Now, I'm not big into the reality shows, I must say. I've never watched an episode of The Kardashians. I don't give a shit about these reality shows, but Bully Beatdown, classic.
Bully Beatdown's a classic, man. Hey, Bully Beatdown, bring it back. We'll gladly make it a YouTube special on the channel. Let's fucking do it. Bully Beatdown. Let's jump into the next fight, Finch. If not, I'm jumping in Bully Beatdown mode. All right. We got Bryan.
AJ, really quick. Okay, you get your own episode. Who do you bring in to beat the bully? What MMA fighter do you pick?
What weight class is this? What weight class is this guy? And do I only got Bellator?
I was giving you open-ended. All
right, let's go this. Let's go. At the end of the day, I want to bring some shine to the Bellator guys. I'll bring in Dalton Rostov. They're a big dude. I think because he's a cool dude. I'm cool with him. I think he'd come on. I'd go Rostov. I think that'd be my pick. I'd give the shine like they used to. Only dudes outside of the UFC.
Okay, Bellator I like. I would go with a patchy mix or somebody who's more unassuming. Because you look at Dalton Roster, you're like, okay, is this guy play for the NFL?
Right.
Is he fucking, look at this fucking guy. You see patchy mix walk in, you're like, I think I may be, and then you find out. So I would get one of those unassuming guys, I think that's more fun.
I like that. No, that'd be sick, man. Listen, if they bring it back, I'll be the first one to let everybody know with first episode reaction. But let's get to this fight. It's Bryan Battle versus AJ Fletcher. Mike Finch, I'm a Bryan Battle guy. I'm backing Bryan Battle, absolutely. And now you give me 10 inches of reach to work with, and he's already got a good submission game. At the end of the day, he strangled Andre Petroski, which at this point is a pretty fucking impressive feat because Petroski's a guy that's good at grappling. He just beat JDM in a close fight. GM3 in a close fight, not JDM. God. I like the side of Bryan Battle to win, man. I think he's a good prospect. This is a guy that didn't get finished by Renat Fakhretdinov, and then look what he did to Kevin Lee the next fight. Give me Bryan Battle. Confident pick. I'm calling a submission. I think he could hurt AJ Fletcher on the feet, but his length on the ground is a big factor, and I think he's live to catch some strangles, man.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bryan Battle, too. I just must say that when it comes to Bryan Battle, I think some people are more impressed with him than I am. I don't think Bryan Battle will even challenge for the title. So I think some people are more on the Bryan Battle train than I am. With that being said, it's because his opponent is AJ Fletcher. I mean, you lose to Ange Lusa, and Matthew Semmelsberger did beat Themba Gorimbo. Is that the guy that The Rock gave the house to?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. So, he beat hungry Themba Gorimbo before he got a free house from Dwayne Johnson. I got to think Bryan Battle can get it done here. His striking's been looking better. How sick was that head kick?
Yeah.
His submissions have always been there. Physically, he's getting stronger. He's getting more reps in. He's getting more fights in. He's becoming more of a veteran. He walks in there more confident now. You got to like Bryan Battle here. But AJ, come on. Never going to be a champ. Admit it.
I'll never admit such blasphemy. But at the end of the day, Bryan Battle is a guy that I expect to be on the UFC roster a long time. He's got a likable personality and style. He's kind of a modern Forrest Griffin. And how do you not root for that? And also, let me say something about AJ Fletcher. The Rock didn't give him a house, but before the Themba Gorimbo fight, there was an article that came out that AJ Fletcher only had $100 in his bank account. He got no fucking steam behind it. But that's something I read online yesterday. I said, man, I didn't even hear about this. I was looking up AJ Fletcher and that came up. Only $100 in my account. Said,
wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He needs to go tell Dana White that, man. Dana White's been hooking some of these guys up. Who did he buy a house for in Vegas? Or did he rent him a house in Vegas? I remember that like 6 months ago. He rented it was like a millweight, a house in Vegas.
Oh, Pfeiffer. Joe Pfeiffer.
Yes, exactly. So tell Uncle Dana, tell him he doesn't have to go bet that 100 G's on a round of poker. He could hook you up, Fletcher. Look, Fletcher could possibly win this fight. I think people are just heavier on Bryan Battle than I am. I agree. Bryan Battle
for the W, man. I just think in the striking, his kickboxing's a big factor with such a range advantage. And then bring in, the way he touched Gabe Green with one shot and put him out, it shows he's got legit power. Granted, had some faults with the scale last time. That's fair. I like Bryan Battle, man. I think he beats AJ Fletcher. I think that AJ Fletcher would do way better at 155. I'll scream it up and down all the time. He's kind of cursed with the short wingspan, dude. It's gonna be hard against these taller guys at 170.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the reach problem with Bryan Battle will be real, man. Bryan Battle might be able to put up another high kick, and he throws straight punches too. So you're going to not only have to slip those straight punches, but then penetration step, close the distance. It'll be a tall task for Mr. Fletcher for sure. I agree with you. So you think Bryan Battle's got it on the feet and on the ground?
I think he's got a big edge, man. Yeah. Minus 175, the favorite. AJ Fletcher.
That wide. For how confident you are, it's not that wide.
It's not that wide. I was actually surprised that it wasn't 250 or at least 210, something like that. I like the money line, Bryan Battle. Battle by sub plus 265. I don't know. The props don't call my name necessarily with a fight like this because there's definitely an argument. AJ Fletcher is a tough dude. He could 100% go distance, but there's also an argument that Battle catches him in sub. And you could even say Bryan Battle has the punching power and the kicking skill set to potentially put his lights out. So AJ Fletcher, Bryan Battle, I'm picking Battle, and I'd go money line.
Battle, money line. Daniel Covert asks, what is my finishing move? Well, if you go to my Tapology, it's generally submissions. I like a good rear naked strangle, and the OGs in the chat know why we call it that. Rear naked strangle is definitely the go-to. It is the most effective submission because you're behind somebody. Your whole body works forward. Your body does not work in the back. I can't even quite itch certain spots on my back, right? So because the human body is designed this way, we take their back, we strangle them. That's the way to go, folks.
It's facts. I mean, look at Elise Reed not tapping from that arm bar where her arm was completely bent like this, but then she's in the rear naked. It's game, set, match.
Right, exactly. That is the most effective submission. There's a reason why it's constantly working. And AJ, that's happening in MMA with gloves on. Right. It is much easier to choke somebody without those gloves in the way. So even with, I always say to my students, even if you mess a key detail up when you're doing a rear naked strangle, you could still finish the submission. That's how good it is.
I like the call. The rear naked strangle, John Danaher, baby.
Come on.
Like the fucking straight jacket system, son.
Come on, folks. Yeah, John Danaher is the man. I've been working DDS stuff for a couple months now. We watch instructionals and go train at night. So, yeah, big fan. And John could show you how to do a proper rear naked strangle. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Let's go. Let's get to the featured bout of the night. Marina Rodriguez versus Michelle Waterson-Gomez 2. The rematch that I didn't know we needed, nor do we ask for, but here it is. Because you know what? How they're both looking in recent fights, taking losses. I guess they kind of perfectly lined up. They went a competitive and hard 5 rounds last time out. The rematch is only 3 rounds. And I have to say, I think that a rematch of only 3 rounds favors Rodriguez over Michelle Waterson. I feel like Waterson's going to look at that first fight and be like, okay, I did get some takedowns in the later stages. Rodriguez doesn't have a great grappling game, and that's something that's been kind of shown, but granted, lost to Verna Jandiroba. It's fucking Verna Jandiroba, knocked out by Amanda Lemos. It's Amanda Lemos. I feel like Michelle Waterson-Gomez is going to look similar to last time out. She's going to be outgunned by a bit in the stand-up, maybe lands a couple takedowns, but I don't think she garners significant control time. And especially, I think she does limited damage from the top position because her forte, Michelle Waterson-Gomez, for the most part, she's known for her kickboxing, the karate hottie. Her stand-up game is where she kind of shines. And she does have really good kicks. And I'd say she's a quality striker for sure. But I feel like Rodriguez outstrikes her. I think Rodriguez has an edge over her. I'm going Rodriguez to do it again.
Yeah, Michelle Waterson-Gomez is a great striker. She's very well coached. She's very smart. She's, understands footwork, understands staying outside the lead foot, setting up crosses, sort of lines of attack, getting off the center line. But she's getting old. And Marina Rodriguez is a great Muay Thai fighter. And Marina Rodriguez, little setback getting out grappled by Verna Jandiroba. And of course she lost to Amanda Lemos, but Amanda Lemos is, was on fire. I mean, Amanda Lemos is one of the best strikers in the world in the female divisions as well. So I think Marina Rodriguez bounces back nicely here. Unfortunately, I think the bookies are on it too. I'm looking at -305, but that's a confident pick, dude.
Right now I'm seeing it drop a little bit. I see -285 available. So
it's better.
Listen, that's better. +245 for Waterson. Rodriguez, it has to be a confident pick. You go watch the first fight, you'll see why. And now let's condense it to only 3 rounds. I think this is Rodriguez's fight. Rodriguez by decision is -150. That's my official method of victory call for this fight right here. It's Rodriguez. She's going to get 2-0 over our girl, Michelle Waterson.
Yeah. Waterson on the way down. Marina Rodriguez, I still think is going to be coming up. I mean, 36 years old. I think right now is her time to bounce back and get some bigger fights in the division. Her striking's pretty fucking impressive. I mean, people have short-term memories, so the last 2 fights are going to stick out. But before that, when she was on a roll, when she was beating Yan Xiaonan, Mackenzie Dern, Michelle Waterson, Amanda Hebas, it lost a split decision to Carla Esparza, but Tisha Torres. I mean, these are solid names. She's been up against a lot of the best women in the world. You gotta like Marina Rodriguez on the feet with her Muay Thai in this fight.
I guess you could say with Waterson, she's been in there with the highest level too. But as far as success rate as of late, Rodriguez, and I'm gonna make a little gripe though. That Yan Xiaonan win, that was not proper decision. I thought that it should have went Yan Xiaonan's way. I thought that she had lost that fight. But let's look at the positives. I mean, she was competitive enough to win a close, somewhat controversial decision against Yan Xiaonan, who just destroyed Jessica Andrade. So
yeah, I would pick Yan against Michelle Waterson as well.
Yeah, agreed. Marina Rodriguez for the win. We're both riding with her pretty confidently with the ladies here in the rematch. Let's jump to the co-main event of the evening. It's Bryce Mitchell versus Dan Ige. Mike Finch, I got to go with Bryce Mitchell to win this thing. I guess I have too much faith in the country boy's strength, man. I expect his wrestling.
Country boy can survive.
A country boy can't survive. You should walk out to it just like Matt Hughes used to, man. I think that Dan Ige has great power in his hands. And I don't think that Dan Ige by any means has bad takedown defense, but was taken down 9 times by Movsar Evloev. Bryce Mitchell is going to implement a very chain wrestling heavy game in this fight. And I think neutralize the most dangerous weapons of Dan Ige, which are his hands, because he can rip with some power. He's got fast boxing. I just think Bryce is going to be all over those takedowns so consistently. And I mean, that win over Edson Barboza for Bryce Mitchell was one of the most impressive wins over Edson Barboza. So I really think that the side of Bryce Mitchell is live to get another one here against a game fighter and Dan Ige. I think they're going 3 rounds with Bryce Mitchell getting it on the cards, bro. I'm not writing them off yet.
Game is the right way to say it, right? It's like Dan Ige is sort of in his prime right now, and he's very tough to beat. I was really happy to pick him against Nate Landwehr. To some, people saying that was crazy. No, man, he can box, dude. I like his deep stance too, because it'll be hard to take him down. He gets underneath people pretty well, lets his hands go, and the gym's on fire right now. I mean, Extreme Couture, hello. You got, was it Zellhuber just last week? By the way, that was part of the parlay. If you hit Zellhuber and you hit Kopylov, you were happy. So
did you sweat a little bit in the first round, Mike, though, when he got hit?
Of course. But it's
Yeah.
MMA, buddy. The better fighter won. Kopylov dominated, bro.
He's a beast.
Kopylov's a beast, bro. That was awesome. I think the gym's on fire right now, man. I think Extreme Couture is riding high. They're feeling it. And so I think Dan Ige is significantly better at boxing than a Bryce Mitchell, and he'll be tough to take down. But yes, I mean, you could say very similar things, especially with the kicking more than the boxing of like an Edson Barboza. I was really impressed by Bryce Mitchell, how he was able to bulldoze Edson Barboza down and sort of, control him from the top. Bryce Mitchell, heavy on top, really good in the half guard, so I'm not prepared to write Bryce Mitchell off either. I'll tell you what, no fucking way I'm betting on this fight. I'll go with you, bro. I do see Bryce Mitchell winning this fight by a decision with some takedowns, but he'll be up against a hell of a test. And you got to also consider the shit he's been dealing with. Did you see his ex-girlfriend burnt down his fruit trees?
That's crazy, right?
You saw it?
He's going to beat up Dan Ige because of it. I heard about it.
His ex-girlfriend burned down his fruit trees. Bryce, what the fuck is your life? You go viral for being the flat earth guy. Now people are burning down your shit. This guy's got a wild existence outside of the cage. I don't know where to place this guy. I do think that he gets the key takedowns, and when he does, I do think he's able to control Dan Ige, but it'll be close, and Dan Ige is going to punch him in the face. So I'm excited for this one.
I like it too, man. Now, as far as the dono in chat, I got to bring up my guy, Megatron, dropping us 199. Can y'all both say Viva Mexico? I don't know what that fucking last word means. What does that mean?
I do. It's not a good word. So Viva Mexico. We got you, my friend. Yeah. If you want us to swear, you're going to have to up that dono, buddy. Okay. All right. But Viva Mexico. Okay. Cabrones. Isn't that, yeah. Viva Mexico, cabrones. That's Canelo Alvarez. There you go.
Viva Mexico, mi amigo. God bless you, Megatron. Thank you for the 199, bro. Let's go. Listen, let's keep running. Let's jump to the odds, actually. What am I saying? We're not keep running yet. Listen, it's 2-1. Bryce Mitchell's the favorite. Dan Ige plus 170. You're not crazy if you like Dan Ige as a dog.
I hate picking Mitchell here, dude. I really do. Kenny French, Ige got this shit. Guys, I feel you. I don't know. You think he's hitting this takedown?
I think he is, man. I think that Ige's a fun dog. I like the odds, and I think people are excited, but I don't see Dan Ige knocking out Bryce, dude. I feel like, Bryce Mitchell got fucked up by Ilia Topuria. Bro, it's fucking Ilia Topuria.
No, yeah, I didn't say that for a reason, bro. It's fucking Topuria. Topuria is up there about to go fight Volk or some shit. Topuria is at a high level. However, I don't think Dan Ige needs to knock him out. I think Dan Ige just stays in that deep stance, keeps popping that jab, boxes him up for 3 rounds, man. There's a pathway to a victory for Dan Ige. I'm kind of rooting for him.
Respect. Listen, Finch, if you're rooting for him that hard, it's plus 170 underdog money.
just to make it fun.
2-1. Bryce Mitchell at minus 200, the favorite. I'm picking Mitchell to win. Mitchell by decision is minus 115. I'll say it's my expected method of victory for him. Subs all the way up at plus 450, but it's not easy to bully Dan Ige. I'm going to say Mitchell, like Mike Finch said, key takedowns. Yeah. I'm going to say that Mitchell gets it on the scorecards. Good fight, though. Good fight. And, you're definitely not crazy if you like the underdog there and you're like, yo, fuck bet Mitchell. But I really think Mitchell's going to end up just outworking him by a tad here.
He's too good in the half guard. And I didn't like Bryce Mitchell either. But after that Edson Barbosa win, I really saw what he was capable of, man. You know, Edson Barbosa is pretty damn hard to take down. And, you know, I feel like that fight really showed us that Bryce Mitchell can compete at this level. So Dan Ige, very similar level as far as trying to take him down. And, you know, Dan Ige, I think a black belt in jiu-jitsu, if I'm not mistaken. So it won't be easy, but Bryce Mitchell in the top half guard, I could see him getting 2 out of 3, man. So, yeah, my heart says Dan Ige. My head, I think I could see Bryce Mitchell grinding out a decision.
As far as the question in chat on Ige by decision, I have to read that off. Plus 450 for an Ige win by decision. Let's go. Let's keep running up, man. We got a pretty dope card up next, the main event, the final fight of the night. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe. It's Rafael Fiziev versus Mateusz Gamrot. Mike Finch, I'm picking Rafael Fiziev to win against Gamrot. Now, Gamrot has awesome wrestling, chain wrestling. He's going to be looking to get this fight to the ground at all times. Fiziev has a pretty high takedown defense rate of 90%, but I do believe he's going to eventually be taken down by Gamrot. I expect him to scramble well. I think he's going to be back up on the feet. And when you talk about damage trumping all in this game, Fiziev is one who can deliver hellish amounts of damage. And you look at the loss to Gaethje, that aged pretty fucking well, because a lot of people argue he could have won that fight the first 2 rounds at the very least. I think Fiziev can knock Gamrot out in the 3rd or 4th here, man. I'm going Fiziev by KO. I think he beats Gamrot. The striking differential is clear. Obviously, the wrestling differential is clear too. It's striker versus wrestler. I'm going to go with the striker this time. I think Fiziev wins.
I think Fiziev wins too, but Gamrot's better in 4 and 5. So my concern with betting on Rafael Fiziev is, how does he look when he doesn't get the knockout and when we see rounds 3, 4, 5? Because that's when Fiziev starts to slow down. And honestly, that's when Gamrot starts to turn up. Gamrot is an endless gas tank, an 80cc competitor. His jiu-jitsu is really high level. His wrestling is nice, although it was, you know, a little too scrambly against Beneil Dariush. I could imagine this being a really good fight. Clearly on the feet, you got to like Fiziev. I was overrating him a little bit. I was picking him against Justin Gaethje. I thought it'd be a close, good fight, like it was. But you know, Justin Gaethje handled business against him, so I could. And then Justin Gaethje went and knocked out Dustin Poirier. So maybe I'm just underrating Justin Gaethje and not overrating Fiziev. It'll be interesting to see how Fiziev does against the not 1 shot, not 2 shots, not 3 shots. Gamrot's going to shoot 10 times, okay? And so he's going to have to defend it over and over and over again. Gamrot is, you know, sort of similar to the 135 pounder who's a top contender for Sugar Sean O'Malley, who shoots a lot of takedowns, who's a gas tank, gas tank. Marab. Thank you. Jesus. Marab. He's similar to Marab in that way, where these guys could just shoot over and over again and they don't get fucking tired. And so I can imagine that over 5 rounds being a problem for Fiziev. I think Fiziev's takedown defense is good. I think he's going to get his hands and his kicks off nicely here. I believe in his striking. I believe in his ability to potentially get a knockout, but I think he can win the first 3 rounds. It's just, I hope he holds it together in the last 2, because, you know, when he goes long, he starts to slow down a little bit, and it'll be interesting to see if Gamrot's able to sort of get that second wind before Fiziev does. Great fight. I fucking love the matchup.
I love it too. I'm going Fiziev with you, but you know, the betting side is close for a reason. Like some things you mentioned, Gamrot can wrestle all night. Plus 127 for Gamrot to minus 147 for Fiziev. The over 4.5 at minus 105 with the under at minus 125. We got a fucking coin flip main event. I'm going to say Fiziev by knockout, but the prop plus 150 isn't really calling my name. Gamrot by a decision is plus 285. I think Fiziev gets the win, but it's a close money line for a close fight. And, you know, we'll talk the lock section up next, and you can get where my head's at with that in the parlays. But I'll tell you this, Fiziev and Gamrot is a hell of a fight.
Hell of a fight. Ike P. Gamrot got the lungs of a marathon runner. I'm saying, Ike, that's what I'm talking about, man. It's a different type of cardio. You know, people are in shape. Like Fiziev is very in shape. Even a Conor McGregor, they're in shape. But some guys are just not built for that long distance style. And Mateusz Gamrot is. And I love the team he's with, you know. So, initial reaction to this, I'm like, yeah, Fiziev, I like him on the feet, and he's going to be hard to take down. But once you dig into it more and more, this thing will be fun.
I like it. Listen, I love the fight. Pick for both of us is Fiziev. Hell of a main event, but we're not done yet. Mike Finch, it's time for the fame section at this. I always call it infamous, but at the end of the day, some things are flowing nicely. So I look forward to the lock of the night. UFC Vegas 79 lock of the night. Mike Finch,
yo,
you're up to bat, my friend.
All right. I got favorites for y'all. You hate it. I know it. I don't give a fuck. I think Andre Fialho is an absolute lock here. Look, it's 39 years old at 170. That's not what we want to see from Dirty Bird Means. He's going to prove you dirty birds wrong out there. And this is coming from a bird. The last name is Finch. I think that we're going to get a knockout from Andre Fialho. I do think he bounces back here. And, it's minus 200. All right. Maybe you got to parlay it up. Luckily, I got you on a parlay right after this.
Listen, Mike Finch, I respect the Fialho call. I'm on the same side as you know. Guys, I'm locking Bryan Battle. I've done it in the past. Nice. I'm doing it again. 5 lock streak, looking to make it 6 here. I'm riding with my guy, Bryan Battle. A 10-inch reach advantage, the ultimate fighter winner, the naturally bigger guy, the better kickboxer from range. And I also think he's going to have the better jiu-jitsu and wrestling skill set too. It's Bryan Battle for me all day. Lock of the week, minus 170 for that one. I got to go Bryan Battle. Let's make it fucking 6 in a row. Let's get it, guys.
Let's go, man. AJ on a little lock streak, bro. I know you were craving this. AJ's been doing his homework for you folks.
Let's go. I have been craving it, man. I said, listen, it's time to hit this streak, baby. So let's get it. Lock of the night for me, gonna be the side of Bryan Battle. Finch, man, going Andre Fialho. And let's jump to the parlay.
All the competition that try to compete, stand back, watch the bomb drop.
Parlay time. Open up your wallets and just tell Mike Finch, because he's on another roll. 9 out of 10. Mike Finch, it's crazy to me how the one that derailed you was supposedly the greatest middleweight of all time. So at the end of the day, if we were in a more normal world, he would be 10 straight. You know what I'm saying? Shit's just crazy on this planet.
10 straight, and some of those were 3-fight parlays, folks. We're talking over 20 straight fights, correct? I mean, I did my best for y'all. Yeah, 9 out of 10. I'm happy to take it. The parlays have been hitting, so you motherfuckers pay attention, okay? You ready for this?
Let's go.
We gotta go Malkoun. Come on, folks. Of course, Malkoun. He's been looking good. He's been impressive in the UFC. He should be able to handle this on the feet. He'll definitely be able to handle this on the ground. And then there's a couple girl fights I like, to be honest. There are all the female favorites on this card. I think I'm pretty confident in. I know how you guys feel about betting on women's MMA. It is more unpredictable. More crazy shit happens. And I got to say how much respect I got for Jackson Wink and Michelle Waterson. But come on, Marina Rodriguez and Jacob Malkoun, I think it's hitting. And I think you're going to get decent odds on what are 2 absolute locks.
It's minus 159 for Malkoun and Rodriguez. Going to range around that depending where you're at. I do think Mike Finch is onto something there with a very high confidence call, putting in the side of Malkoun and Rodriguez. And hey, if you went with Finch's lock on it too, you'll be in the plus zone. Then you're at plus 153. That's not his official one. I'm just adding that in as a little something for the people so they know if they're looking for that plus money. Now, for me, I also think Jacob Malkoun should be a sure winner on this card, and it would be kind of surprising as hell if he doesn't get the win. And then obviously I sometimes like to lock it in with my lock, Bryan Battle. Malkoun Battle at minus 105, I think is pretty slick play that I feel pretty good about hitting. Now, I also like Mike Finch's mindset on Marina Rodriguez. So if you added in a Finch edition, which is Marina Rodriguez, you went Malkoun battle. Now you're at plus 159. And if you combine both of ours, adding in Fialho as Mike Finch's lock, you're at plus 303. So some interesting parlays to potentially play for the people. And we got a dono in chat I got to bring up. Trash Monkey with the $5 Canadian. Dan Argueta is a lock. Dude's a savage. Everyone's going to learn this fight. Thanks for the heat every week, guys. Trash Monkey, we appreciate your $5 Canadian. There's no argument here from me that he's not a savage, even though I'm picking the opposite side of Miles Jones.
Yeah, what do you mean he's talking to you, brother? You picked against him. Hey, man, Dan Argueta is a physical specimen. The way he smashes guys, it's got to feel like you fell into a trash compactor like in Star Wars, right? Where they were going to get smushed. He just buries people under there, and I do believe that if he gets on top, it will look like that. The problem is Miles Jones is hard to take down, and Miles Jones has a big right hand. So it'll be a fun one. I like your confidence in him, Trash Monkey. That's what I want to feel as well, because I think in a couple weeks here, I got to get some pad sessions in with my guy, Dan Argueta. Very kind guy, and I do think he gets this one done. I agree with you.
Let's go. Let's go. People, we appreciate you. If you're wanting to know what's going on with Contender Series, as usual, my picks are dropping after Moneyline. Should be out in the next couple of hours. So keep your eyes peeled on the channel for my Dana White's Contender Series Week 7 weigh-in recap show. And then obviously I'm live tomorrow for Contender Series. I got this week's Best of MMA bets on Wednesday. Also doing the Bare Knuckle show, which is going to drop on Friday. We're recording that Wednesday. Thursday, late night live. Friday, weigh-in recap show. Saturday, we got the UFC bringing the fucking violence with UFC Vegas 79. I'm excited, guys. Smash the likes. Shout out to all you watching live. Shout out to everybody watching on replay too, as Mike Finch said throughout the stream a couple times. We got love for the replay gang. Much love to everybody, man. We appreciate you a ton.
Big love to every single person who watches our show. We appreciate you all. And big love to anybody who dropped in the donos. Means a lot. Bellator 300 going down. San Diego, I'll be there. And one more thing, folks. I talked to Patchy Mix. I'm going to be at Extreme Couture in a couple weeks, and I'm going to go interview as many people as I can. That's all I'll say. I'm trying to put stuff together. Hopefully, we could hear from some pretty cool people over there. So for sure, we're hanging out with Patchy Mix, and that's all that's booked. So I'm going to Vegas right after Bellator 300. I'll be working, and you guys will get a lot of content coming soon. All right, we're working on it. Chris Cyborg's down the street training too. Why don't I go interview her? I'm gonna try. We'll try to get some good content lined up for you guys. October will be a good month over on my channel, and I will always see you here every Monday to hype it up. So you guys will hear it coming.
Mike Finch Show over on YouTube at Mike Finch. Check our boy out. Thank you guys for watching. If your post notifications are not turned on, please turn them on. Put them on all so you don't miss a video, because I got daily content dropping and you don't want to miss a thing. Much love, people, and we will see you all in the next one.
Peace, everybody.